Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick, and today guys we're going to be taking another look at what is going on here with BTC and what I would expect to happen next. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so you'll be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all that said, done and out of the way, if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, links in the description down below. Fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free, and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. So why not go ahead and check it out today? Right, let's get into this, right? So we're actually going to start off with Glassnode data, just to make sure everyone's aware of what's actually going on in the background here, and lots of different reasons for it, and you know, what we're seeing in terms of price volatility, etc. Now, another 99,000 BTC more left exchanges yesterday than went on, right? So all the inflows, all the outflows, 99,000 more deficit. Okay, so all the red that you're seeing on this chart basically is emphasizing more Bitcoin leaving the exchanges than is going on to exchanges. Okay, and the green basically represents more going on than has come off. Okay, so the net difference between inflows and outflows, and basically we've seen I think it's like 3.85 million BTC units are now gone off the exchanges since 2022 or January 2022, right? So from the start of the year, we've seen 3.85 million Bitcoin gone from exchanges. And where has it gone? Well, it's gone into the hands of, you know, people who are accumulating and whales and institutions and things like that, right? So at the same time as, you know, mainstream media or these media outlets or influencers maybe are even paid to kind of, you know, shill coins or whatever, you know, essentially there's lots of people telling you that Bitcoin's going down. And whilst people are telling you Bitcoin is going down and obviously the price of BTC is slightly falling, it's nothing dramatic by any stretch of the imagination. You see a huge amount of adoption or accumulation happening in the background, right? So I just wanted to start things off by just saying, yeah, we're seeing a significant shrinkage on supply. Now, anyone who knows anything about how price moves will know that supply and demand are the two key metrics in making any price move up or down, right? If there's too much supply and hardly any demand, the price will drop down very, very fast. And if, of course, there is huge demand and hardly any supply, the price moves up rapidly. And the price of an asset in the crypto space has absolutely zero to do with market cap. It has absolutely zero to do with money flowing into it. It basically is to do with supply and demand, okay? If there's a huge supply and hardly any demand, the price will be low. If there is hardly any supply and huge demand, then the price will be high. It's very, very simple. And obviously liquidity is going to make a difference to that as well. We cannot ignore liquidity. So money flowing in and out of the project does matter to a degree, but we have to understand that you couldn't liquidate an entire crypto asset instantaneously and pull out, let's say, $1 trillion. There just simply isn't that much money in BTC, for example. Okay, so we have to understand that market cap doesn't actually indicate to you how much money a project has or how much a project is worth. It's not a value indicator. It is an indicator of price multiplied by the circulating supply. Very, very simple. Okay, let's move on to the next key report. Where is this Bitcoin going? Well, this Bitcoin is going to whales, right? And here we have the number of whales with more than 1,000 BTC in their wallet. So this is a number of addresses with more than 1,000 Bitcoin. It is pretty significant. It's been spiking up since the end of February 2022, and obviously was you know, just kind of trading sideways pretty much from July 2021. Okay, now the price spike is reasonably significant, but it's not a huge percentage increase. I'm not going to kind of sugarcoat that. The graph makes it look so much more than it actually is. But it does indicate that there is a significant amount of I guess more whales accumulating now. It's a significant amount, but it's not massive by any stretch of the imagination. Now, again, we can have a look at the 10,000 Bitcoin. Okay, so basically this has actually been increasing since I think like late November. Or late October, actually. We've been basically increasing the amount that you know, these particular whales have, right? This is more than 10,000 BTC per wallet, and obviously this is a much lower number, which is why you don't tend to find so much fluctuations, right? So you see that these people are, or institutions are, fluctuating a little bit. They might be taking some out, they might be distributing it across different wallets or whatever, and it might be moving up and moving down in different areas. Essentially, this isn't, again, anything kind of significant, but I do want to kind of highlight that pretty much since late 2021, these guys have been accumulating as well. Okay, so basically, they've been stacking up a little bit. Now, there was a little bit of a drop from December through to the end of mid-February. Okay, so that little pullback there, I think that may have been caused by them, who knows. But essentially what you actually have here is a drop down, and then we've moved right back up again. Okay, so as the prices are where they are, between that kind of $32,000 and like $40,000 range seems to be the area where accumulation is happening for Bitcoin. Okay, so I just wanted to kind of highlight that we're seeing a significant number of wallet increases, specifically with these whales, for example. As you can see that they pulled right the way down. These I don't want to call them whales. I mean, they're significant, of course, but 100 Bitcoin, they were dropping down, and then basically they started to accumulate massively again. Okay, so do as they do, not as they say. And the big fish here, they are really getting into Bitcoin again. So when we take a look at the charts and we start thinking, okay, well, where's the obvious turning points here for Bitcoin? Where do we think things are likely to go? And how low do we think they're going to go before they actually get better? Ultimately, the price is being pushed in different directions. There's a lot of long positions, there's a lot of short positions. And, these are basically, those long and short positions, they create pockets of liquidity in the same way that your stop losses create pockets of liquidity. And if the price moves into that little pocket there, basically the Bitcoin, let's say that a retail investor has on leverage, basically just transfers itself from the leverage player over to a whale or institution, right? They can just keep taking the liquidity out without moving the price massively. So they can coast this price into an area, or the price of Bitcoin into an area of liquidity, and then basically stack up a huge position in BTC without seeing huge spikes with the price, right? This is a different way of thinking. A lot of retail investors don't generally understand how whales accumulate Bitcoin, but essentially they don't just go into a market maker and just place an order and buy it, and they wouldn't just go in there and either or sell it. Okay, that would create too many spikes with the price. So instead, pockets of liquidity is how they operate. So well worth understanding that. Now, in terms of the directional move here, I did have to make a couple of adjustments because the 5 waves that we had up were odd. They should never have been there. The only way I could account for that is actually in a different kind of structure here. And essentially, it would have had to have been that this is our bottom of our wave 3, and we have some kind of expanding flat correction for our wave 4, and now we're pulling back down. We could not start a 4th wave with 5 waves, okay, and we couldn't start a corrective 3-wave move with 5 waves either. That then gets invalidated by moving down lower than origin. Okay, so those 5 waves, the only way that I can see that they work is if that is the top of our wave 4 and it's an expanding flat correction. So basically what we have here is A, B, and C move. Okay, this means that we are most likely going to be going down into this little pocket down here. This is basically $36,000 to $37,500. Now, I know we've bounced up, and again, you would, because nothing moves in straight lines. Everything will be bouncing around, as you can see. We haven't gone straight lines anywhere. Okay, so although we've moved up here, this is kind of a bit of a no-brainer. We were going to bounce, and we were going to bounce specifically because we were so oversold at the time. Okay, why do I think we're now going to pull back down? Well, we have to really review what's going on with the stochastic RSI. We have to have a look at a momentum indicator. Now, we're overbought, looking to pull back down. This is actually holding up quite well on the hourly chart. So this actually could continue to move up, and I would like to see that. I'd like to be wrong about all of this scenario, and I'd like to think that we're moving up from here. But I'm also, a realist when it comes to understanding the patterns and the data, and most of the time they are going to play out. I would like it not to, and I'd like it to invalidate, but for the most part, I don't see it. So when we get back into this, we can see that this should be pulling down to the oversold area. Now, it's actually holding up quite well here, but it should come down, unfortunately. So we'll know if it moves past this lower area that this is the right structure. If it kind of just continues to mounts up and goes higher than our wave 4, then well, the structure just doesn't make sense to me at that point. So I have to see what else is going on there, but I can't see it right now as an option. But when we go into the 4-hourly, we can see that we're also overbought now. Okay, so basically yesterday we went from oversold to overbought on the 4-hourly chart. This basically is, if we throw the volumes on here, is indicating to us that people aren't really wanting to buy Bitcoin. There's might be some smaller trades going on here, but the volumes have decreased as we went up, and yet when we were actually pulling down, the volumes were increasing a little bit here. So essentially where we are, it's an interesting spot. On the 8-hourly chart, we're also progressing quite rapidly to the upside here, so we're almost overbought on our 8-hourly chart. All this is going to be basically indicating that we set a lower high point, and then we'll get a reversal, probably come down into a lower low, this being 36 to 37. Now, as I come into the daily, where are we? We're heading right back up into the overbought area, and the weekly is actually progressed quite nicely. So I think this correction coming down is going to be putting us in a really good spot for that weekly chart, and the monthly is fantastic, exactly where we want it to be already. So from a price momentum perspective, the only thing I'm like overly concerned with, I guess, would be that we need to see this correction come down, but we also don't want to be, caught out. We don't want to necessarily FOMO into anything too soon. Specifically when the price momentum indicator is moving rapidly to the overbought area with actually pretty minor price movements. So, I mean, what that is like 6%. So 6% for Bitcoin is pretty good, but I think that's going to get wiped out pretty quickly. So we're looking for a lower low to come in. We want to see this 36 to 37 to complete the pattern, so that then we can get a bounce to the upside afterwards, okay? Now, the other thing that we can look at is we might have to push up just a fraction more, okay? And if we do, then I will show you where I would expect that to kind of get the rejection, okay? I would expect that at 41,080, okay? Essentially, that is a 618 rejection point, and that's where you would kind of bounce. So if I run it from the top to the bottom here, grab it there, and you can see that the 618 is right there at $41,080, right? So that's going to be the area that you would expect on a bounce to kind of be your rejection point. Okay, so keeping an eye out on that, keeping a real close eye on what happens next here for Bitcoin. But my expectation is still to pull down into this typical wave 5 low, 36,000 to 37,500. That hasn't changed. And the patterns that are going on here are also very, very interesting. This rapid decline and the bounce upwards, okay? So keep a close eye on it. Not going to be actively trading personally until we see this kind of bottom out a little bit, and I see those stochastic RSIs come into in a better range. At the moment, they're definitely not in a good range whatsoever for thinking the price is going to be going upwards. So guys, I'm going to leave the video there. There's a lot of things going on. Join us in Discord if you want a little bit more information on BTC. We're down there all the time, so why not check that out? And if you found this useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all that said, done and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.